In the 1970s, one man turned heroin into a multi-million dollar empire that controlled the streets of Harlem. His product was so pure, people called it blue magic. He drove luxury cars, wore expensive fur coats, and became one of the most feared drug traffickers in America. His name was Frank Lucas. But while Hollywood later turned him into a legend, the real story behind his empire was far darker. The operation that destroyed it was more violent and far more complicated than most people realize. Frank Lucas grew up in North Carolina during a time of poverty and racial tension. As a young man, he eventually moved to Harlem, where organized crime controlled the illegal drug trade. At first, Lucas worked under Ellsworth Bumpy Johnson, one of Harlem's most powerful crime bosses. Johnson became a mentor figure, teaching Lucas how power worked in the criminal underworld. But after Johnson's death in 1968, a power vacuum opened across Harlem, and Frank Lucas saw an opportunity. Instead of relying on the Italian mafia, Lucas wanted complete control of the heroin business himself. Lucas began building direct connections with heroin suppliers in Southeast Asia during the Vietnam War. Investigators claimed he bypassed traditional mafia middlemen, allowing for higher purity and lower prices. That heroin became known on the streets as blue magic. The name spread quickly through Harlem. Blue magic was powerful, cheap, and extremely addictive. And as demand exploded, Lucas's empire grew rapidly. Money poured in faster than anyone imagined. Luxury cars, mansions, expensive clothing, armed bodyguards. Frank Lucas became rich enough to attract national attention. And that was his biggest mistake. For years, Lucas operated carefully and avoided publicity. But eventually, wealth changed him. One night in 1971, Lucas attended the Muhammad Ali vs. Joe Frazier fight in New York. He was wearing an expensive chinchilla fur coat and flashy hat that cost more than many houses. Sitting near celebrities and powerful figures, Lucas suddenly stood out, and law enforcement noticed. Investigators began asking an important question. Who was this man spending enormous amounts of money? That question would eventually lead authorities directly to his empire. A special narcotics task force quietly began investigating Lucas's operations. Detectives tracked his money, associates, and distribution network across Harlem. What they discovered shocked them. Lucas wasn't just another street dealer. He had built a massive heroin operation, generating millions of dollars every month. But the deeper investigators looked, the more dangerous it became, allegedly including armed enforcers and killers. In 1975, federal agents and narcotics investigators finally moved against Frank Lucas's organization. Authorities seized drugs, weapons, and enormous amounts of cash. The untouchable empire was collapsing. Facing life in prison, Frank Lucas eventually agreed to cooperate with authorities. His cooperation reportedly exposed corrupt officers and criminal operations that had once protected him. But it also made him a marked man. Hollywood later turned him into a larger-than-life figure. But the real Frank Lucas was part of a heroin epidemic that devastated entire communities. While blue magic made him powerful, the same empire eventually destroyed everything around. Was he truly the criminal mastermind Hollywood portrayed? Or was the legend bigger than the reality?